Next on News for the Soul, it's time for Diamond Astrology with Monique, heard here on Thursdays. A pioneer in her field with over 40 years' experience, Monique is one of the world's first teachers of diamond astrology. A new dimension in the astrology of today, fusing personality with the essential self in the charts with heart-opening and eye-opening results. Please welcome Monique back to News for the Soul.
All right. Happy New Year, Monique. Welcome back. Do we have you on the board?
Oh, sure you do. Hi, Nicole. Great to hear you again.
Yay.
Happy New Year to you.
So let's get you to reintroduce the show and what's up for today.
Well, today, as you know, I am so honored to introduce a very special woman who wants to be my guest in this show. And her name is Barbra Mandel. She is a famous psychic medium. And she is like me, she's Dutch. And, she has such great gifts, such great talents, that I really wanted to share this with the audience, especially also because it is now the 3rd of January. And, of course, I want to wish everybody who's listening, all the listeners, and who will listen later, a very great and happy and beautiful, healthy new year, right? And I'm sure that Barbra Mandel can give her contribution to that as well by sharing her talents and her gifts. So she will be the guest. And she's quite ready to share her knowledge. So, Barbara, are you there?
Here we go.
Barbara, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you very, very well. So great to hear you. And can you hear me too? Is it all clear for you?
Loud and clear. And
Good.
Thank you for your kind words.
Well, I have not finished yet because I would like to introduce you very clearly to the audience, and read something from your website here. So, dear audience, listen to these words from Barbara's website. It's called barbrathemedium.com. And she says, every single psychic reading is different. I never know who will step forward and what kind of messages are coming through. That is so exciting. One thing I know for sure, every reading is very special because all the information I receive and channel from the spirit world is brought with so much clarity, unconditional love, and understanding. And then it says, with your spirit guides by your side, you have a highly intelligent team around you that is only concerned with you and your well-being. Barbara, I love these words so much because
thank you.
They express the love from our guides to us. It's an unconditional love. And it was known that some days ago, 31st December, you had a radio show for a wide audience in Holland. And
yes.
Of course, because you're very famous, So I think you can share also your knowledge with us. And I thought that the first thing you want to talk about is guides, isn't it? Working with guides. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, you're right. It's one of my tasks to build a bridge between humans and their spirit guides, and make people aware that they are never alone. And my heart really sings when I have contact with guides and deceased loved ones. I can feel the love flowing through me. So that's something I just love to do. And I also love to explain that there are different kinds of spirit guides, and every person has one main spirit guide and several help guides, also known as guardian angels. And with your main guide, you have, before you were born, talked about the lessons you want to learn in this life. And he or she assists you in this life and offers you help, guidance, and protection. And when you die, you come together to see what you have learned and how did you interact with the other people, which lessons are not fully integrated yet. And the love of your guides is really unconditional. And what is unconditional? We use that term a lot, but unconditional love means loving the other person without any expectations. That's unconditional love. So your main guide is someone you've shared a life with on Earth, and you had a strong and very close bond in that lifetime, or maybe even several lifetimes. And it's a very old soul that will no longer incarnate. And help guides are also around us, and they are family members, friends, or acquaintances who have died. And they stay.
That's so interesting, Barbara. If I may ask you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So you say that your main guide has shared a life or lives with you on Earth.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I see. So, and that's the same as the guardian angel, or not?
Well, yeah. Well, some people like to call it guardian angel. I call it a guide, a main guide. But it doesn't matter how you name it. But it's such an old friend. It's, when we are born, we forget everything about past lives and why we wanted to be born again. We come in this world as a baby with a clean slate. But when we die, we see so many people we loved, not only in this lifetime, but all the lifetimes we already had. And that includes your guide. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not wanting to die yet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone again.
Yeah, I think you make me curious as well, who will there be? Yeah, that's something to look forward to, not to fear death, but to say, it's another world, I will see so many faces. But do you know your own guide, by the way, your own main guide?
Yeah, my main guide, his name is Ben, and he's been with me, of course, since I was born, and the last 2 decades, he started to write with me. So I could feel that there was a block of information coming. And then I took a pen and paper and started to write. So he gives me a lot of information about various topics.
Okay. And you can always ask him, you're doing your work as, can you connect also with the main guides of your clients or other people?
Yes, and that's something I developed, and I call that a personal soul script. It's something I offer because I go into a meditation and I ask the main guide of the person I'm reading for to step forward and to tell me, why are you here on Earth? What made you decide to be born again? What are your talents? What is your passion? What is your soul mission? And what personal qualities and talents want to come to the surface now and in your future? What was your relationship with your guide in previous lives? Who were you in previous lives? Sorry. And where did you live? And in which phase of your life are you now? How can you make deeper contact? That's a personal soul script, and I make a recording, and I send it, so that you can understand yourself better. You get to know yourself better, and it's really profound information.
I think you can get a lot of insight, and I think also, Barbara, that I think it's a good thing to repeat all the things that you just said, questions that you can ask to you, and then that you receive the answers from the guide. Could you say that again, what people can hear from you?
Why are you here on Earth?
Yeah.
What made you decide to be born again? What are your talents? What is your passion, your soul mission? What personal qualities and talents want to come to the surface now and in the future? What was your relationship with your guide in previous lives? Where did you live? And in which phase of your life are you now? How can you make deeper contact with your own guide? And everything else he wants to share, he or she.
That's awesome. And what was your relationship with Ben, by the way?
Husband and wife.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yes. And, I love questions like, will I get married? Or when will I find a partner? How will I find a partner? About the job. And I love to do that. But I also really love to go deeper. And I feel that people are getting more interested in going deeper. Like, who am I? They realize I'm not only here to work and then sleep and eat and then die, but why am I here? I want to know. So I can help with that, and it's really interesting.
And do you have maybe some examples? I mean, if someone asks that or anything, that comes up, because you say you can go deeper. Do you mean deeper to the soul, or what do you mean exactly?
It's really on a soul level. So, for example, I can sense and hear from your guide if you already have studied astrology in previous lives. I mean, you are so talented that has to come from previous lives. It's not only from this life. So what did you do in that life? And or when somebody doesn't know what their soul mission is, I can explain why and when it will open. I believe everyone has a time frame in their soul that some knowledge will pop up when the timing is right. So it's also nice to know. I mentioned countries where people have affection for, and they say, yes, well, that's on my bucket list because I really want to go to, let's say, Australia or America. And they say, I don't know why. And I say, well, it's because you have a previous life there.
Yeah. Well, that's so, logical, There, I have a big affection for Arabia and the Indian culture, the native Indians, and those depths. And I saw it in dreams also, and that makes sense what you say so much,
Wow.
So, I think that the puzzle becomes clearer with what you're doing. Is that right?
Absolutely. And a lot of people have feelings of guilt, like I feel like a hermit, I'm not social enough, I like to withdraw. And when I explain that that's the way that their soul can grow the fastest way, they don't feel guilty anymore. Or when I explain that they always lived on their own in their previous life and that they loved it. So you get to know yourself on a totally different level because in this time, it's social media, everyone's busy. You have to participate in everything, and if you don't do that, you're weird. But going inside to the internet instead of the internet is so it helps to grow and understand who you are.
I love it. I know that we are now on the edge of entering the era of the soul, right?
Yeah.
And I think you are a great contributor to, let's say, peel off the layers of our personality where we are conditioned and where our soul growth is blocked. Okay,
Yes,
exactly
yes.
what you say. When you really feel, well, I want to live alone, or I don't want children, or I don't want a partner, and you feel guilty because you see the external world, everybody is doing it, and why aren't you doing it? To become stronger and to make that connection with your souls, and no, this is who I am. This is what I want to be, and
Exactly.
I think you can really empower people there.
Absolutely. And it's, I love to remind people who they are, because we forget who we really are, because we're, with, like you said, with our surroundings, social media, everything. But to remember who you are is such an awakening.
Yes.
We are so powerful. Everyone is so powerful. And I love to tell people how powerful they are.
That's deep, huh? Sometimes it must come from deep, mustn't it?
Yes, and the same with your work. You go so deep, and I don't know any astrologer who goes so deep. And I think that's the only way to go deep, because every treasure is there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and that's the thing too. We are all now, let's say, on a journey. Our evolutionary path is to be that unique person, to let emerge our uniqueness.
Yes.
You see, and that must come from deep. We must delve in that ourselves to find that treasure, as you say. So, do you have any examples or stories or that you want to share in this sense?
With people who went deep, or?
No, with clients that you maybe, or something else that you wish to share?
Well, in every reading, almost every reading, my guide tells to go meditate. And I started meditating, I think a decade ago. It really changed my life completely. And before that, I didn't want to meditate because my mind went to daily chores instead of keeping your mind silent. But I did. I started to learn to meditate and quiet my mind. And you get to your core being when you meditate. So that's something I always recommend to people. If they don't meditate, start meditating. It will really turn your life around. It can turn your life around. And people said to me, well, but how do I do it? And should I listen to music? Should I listen to a guided meditation? And I said, well, maybe someday my guide will help me with a guided meditation. And he did. So I offer it for free, a free meditation on my website. Where you get healing, you get relaxation, you can activate your third eye, you connect with your spirit guides, you get knowledge from the universal library. It's a power half hour. That's how I call it. And what I hear from people, that the feedback I get is that they felt who they really, they start to feel who they really are. So when that happens, when you start to feel who you are, you start to feel what you want, not with your head, but with your heart. And when you feel with your heart, you can make decisions about work, about relationships. And I always say, when you start to meditate, all hell will break loose, because what you really want will come to the surface, and you're going to change your life. So that's the feedback I get.
Yes, great. And the fact is, I love it that you emphasize so much the guides that we have, because the sentence here on your website, the beautiful sentence is, if looking back hurts and looking ahead makes you scared, then look next to you. I walk along with you every single day, your guide. I love that.
I'm getting goosebumps listening to you. I mean, yeah, I'm really getting goosebumps because it's so true, and people are so lonely sometimes, and you're never ever ever alone. You're never alone, never. And when you can develop a bond with your own guide, you just have a friend always by your side. So that's really beautiful.
And is it true, Barbara, that you can also speak about how to connect with a guide, yourself, or can you give some clues, or is that not in your show today?
Yeah, you were a little blur on my Skype. So did you say like tips to get a stronger bond with your guide?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. First of all, see it as a friend. Like we're talking right now, that's the way you have to talk to your guide. He's your best friend. So he knows you like better than you know yourself. So what you can do, well, several things. You can buy a nice book with blank pages, and you make it your personal guide book. So you can start in an easy way. So let's say you can ask a question. You write down a question, and then your guide has to answer yes or no. So you can start to feel what it's like when you get a yes or a no. Sometimes you will hear an actual yes or an actual no in your head. Sometimes you get a feeling that it's a no or a yes. Oh. But the biggest tip is to meditate and ask before you go into meditation. Say, sweet guides, I want the connection stronger. I want to bond with you. I want to feel you. I want to hear you. I know you're there. I'm open, because that's very important to say that you're open. You're not scared. You're open for contact. And you can also say between you and your guide, if I see a butterfly, a blue butterfly, I know it's you. Or if I see a rainbow, I know it's you. So let's say you applied for a job and you want to know if it's okay or not. So you can say to your guide, okay, if I have to take this job, if it's the best decision, I want to see a rainbow within now and 2 days. So you can make agreements with your guide.
Great, I love that.
And they love to play with us. And it's so easy for them to show you a rainbow. It's so easy for them to show you a butterfly. Or I have a white rose. That's my sign with my guide. So sometimes I'm stepping into my car, and on the hood of my car is a white rose. I'm not kidding you. And I'm thinking, how did it get there? But it's a piece of cake to do that for guides.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, and it. Yeah.
So a guide can really say, okay, here is your rainbow, and whoop, there. Is that right?
Yeah, because they can give you the feeling that you should look up to your television screen, and at that moment there is a commercial with a rainbow on the television screen. So it's so easy for them.
Oh yes.
So, but be playful, have fun, be playful, and they have so much sense of humor.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you must be creative with your guide, as I understand it.
Yeah, and they love to be creative, and they love to find ways to that we have more fun in our lives. Having fun is so important, because when we have fun, we raise our vibration, we raise our immune system. It's so important. So they want to play with us in a serious way, but they want to play with us.
That's awesome. You know what, Barbara? You were saying you were speaking about that rainbow, and I wonder why you just mentioned the rainbow. Shall I tell you something? I'm in Holland now. I'm in Holland, and I drove with my car to Marken, which is a very famous, authentic Dutch place near water, and I walked there, and a beautiful rainbow appeared, and I thought to myself, I have never seen such a beautiful rainbow. So from one side to another in a bow as I saw at that time. And now I must think of our conversation. I'm sure it has to do with that rainbow and our talk here.
I'm having goosebumps again. So I think you got a sign, Monique.
Yes.
I think somebody wants to connect with you on a deeper level.
Well, perhaps it's you, or maybe there are people listening here, but I was so amazed with that rainbow, and now you're speaking about it, and I love the way that you said, come on, let's be creative and playful, and don't be so serious, don't be so serious. That's what I really love in your words.
Yeah, we are way too serious, and we like to comment on everything that we see and other people do, but just mind your own business a little bit more. Just look at yourself and make sure you're feeling good every day. That's the most important thing to do.
Yeah. So you can help us to develop more our intuition, right, in our inner senses, and to learn to communicate in a non-verbal way. Am I right?
Exactly. And when you have a strong connection with your instinct, with your intuition, I also see that as a contact with your guides, because your soul, your intuition, your gut feeling, your guides, I see that as one. It's one. So people often say, well, I don't know how to make contact with my guide, and I want to do the right thing, but I'm scared that I'm doing it wrong. And I say, well, if you develop that you trust your instinct and your gut feeling, you can find your guide there, because it's all one. And then they go, okay, well, that's easier for me. We tend to make things more difficult than they actually are.
Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about that book, right, with the blank pages, and you write something down, and you connect with your guide, and you say, "Hello, precious dear guide." It may be a he or a she. Okay, I'm open to you, and I have a question, and could you give me an answer? Let's make an agreement how you speak to me.
Yes.
Okay, that's beautiful. Is there anything more you can share with us here?
Well, when you find yourself in a situation and you don't know what to do, like it's really complex, you can ask your guide before you go to sleep that when you fall asleep, that your guide takes you to another energy level, and that he will explain everything to you and what you should do. And when you wake up in the morning, you know the answer. So you can make the agreement with your guide. You say, I want clarity on this situation in my sleep, and when I wake up, I want to know what I have to do. Yeah. You can ask anything, really anything. You don't have to do it alone. So when you wake up, make sure you have pen and paper next to your bed and write down how you feel, because we can feel so, yes, we can have so much clarity when we wake up. Write it down what you feel and what your decision is, and stick to the decision. Don't let your thinking overrule your feeling.
This is so much fun, when you learn to communicate in this way, then life becomes much lighter, I think, much easier. Is that right?
Yes, it is, because in the end, everything will work out fine.
Yeah.
In the end, everything will work out fine, but I think that 70-80% of the people think that there's problem after problem after problem. But that's not the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to be here, experience love in all kinds of forms, be positive, and just live your life the best you can, even if that involves being alone. But just be more playful.
Playful. That's indeed the word. To be playful. Yes, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think also what you say is that we should not think so much with our lower minds. We should really, that's what I love also to say to people, to get out of our mind and to connect with our higher minds, our intuition. And that's so much more, it's so easier to do, right?
Yes. Yes. And when you connect with your higher mind and with your gut feeling, you immediately get a better, a more positive feeling during the day. Our thinking is really limited. It's really limited. But our feeling is, we are so much more than we know, and that's what I always try to explain. You're not a body. You have a body, but you are a soul.
Yeah. And the way you depicted your words gives me a sense of that we are connected.
Yes.
We are connected with all sorts of energies, and we should communicate. We should reach out, and then something comes back. And as I hear you, Barbra, we can develop that more and more and more, right?
Yes. Yes, and also that's beautifully said, Monique. And also that we understand that everything starts with ourselves, and we cannot blame somebody else for the situation we're in. So know that you always, every day, every minute of the day, can take full control over your life. And that's also very empowering if you start to realize that you have control over your own life and you cannot blame anyone else.
Yeah.
Was that a bit too deep, or?
No. I think people who are listening understand quite well, what you're saying, because it's part of, I think, also to shift to higher frequencies. And if you want to shift to higher frequencies, you need to take responsibility of your own life. Exactly. Right? That's not difficult. It's just be aware of it and make a decision if you want to take responsibility of your own life or not. And if you say, yes, I do, okay, then the consequences is, all right, that it will open you up to higher frequencies. Good. Exactly. And these are really exciting times. I'm so glad that I decided to be born in this age. I really am, because it's so, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. No. But it's intriguing. It's a challenge sometimes, but I wouldn't have missed it for anything. No, and then, we are really, Yeah, and then you meet soulmates, like I met you,
And when you meet soulmates, you speak the same language.
Yes.
Going deeper, and that's the beauty of life. That, I mean, it's also directed from above, that you meet someone and it's exactly what you need. It's exactly what you need to hear. It's somebody who can help you grow further. So I love the synchronicity of the universe. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that?
Oh, yeah, sure. You know, that's, well, talking about synchronicity means that you are, let's say, in harmony with your own uniqueness and the universe. That's how I understand it, Barbara. So that means if there are still layers between your soul and the universe, then how can the universe cannot communicate well with you? So if you want, as I understand it, Barbara, if you want to improve situations where you meet synchronicity, right, that means that you also improve to express your own uniqueness more and more.
I couldn't agree more. And,
right?
and when you say that, I can feel the energies going up because you're so connected to your true self. So I feel the energy go up, 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 and that's what you want.
Ah, yeah.
It's really beautiful. So, and it all starts with you. So you have to connect and welcome the people on your path, because everyone is there for a reason.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that thought too, you know, and that makes life so precious when you meet people who enter, what I like to call it, who enter your universe, you know.
Yeah.
And whatever those people may be, but they have something to say to you. And to be open to what is the message here, you know, without any judgment, without any, being really open. Okay, and that's glorious. Oh, he or she is for that reason and contributes to my universe. Yeah.
And also, if somebody turns out to be a horrible ex-partner, it's so beautiful. It's so you can grow so much if you can say really from your heart, thank you, ex-partner, for entering my universe and showing me what I don't want and showing me what I do want, instead of being angry with someone. So if we can all just look at it that way, it will change you, and it will change you on a cell level. It's very beneficial for your health also to don't have a grudge or anger. I really believe that especially feelings of anger, but also feeling guilty, can be devastating for your body.
Oh, yeah, sure, you know. That's one of the, let's say, anger. I know that one. I know anger. And when I read the sentence, anger emerges from a lack of insight, right?
Whoa.
And then I thought, oh, wow, there is something I do not see. There is really, and that opened my eyes, right? So, and also guilt, you know, guilt is also one that is putting you down. That's something you don't see, or you don't love yourself in some sense. Okay.
Yeah. And it's beautiful, like during a reading, that I can explain somebody who has, for example, a lot of guilt, what it does. So, and the guides are so gentle. They know your pace, so they're so gentle with explaining what you're doing in an unconditional way, and they show you, like, you can keep continuing with your anger and your guilt, and you think you're not enough, but what if you see it in another way? And then they start to talk about the other path you can take. And then somebody says, wow, why didn't I learn that in kindergarten? Why didn't I learn that when I was young? And I say, well, we're going to learn that, but it'll take a couple of decades, but we're all going to learn that. But I'm telling you now what you can do. And they're like, wow, there's a solution to getting rid of my anger, or I'm not enough, or I'm stupid. My parents told me I'm stupid, and I don't want to feel that way anymore. It's so nice to give people tools to work with.
And that's what you do, don't you?
Yeah, and well, the guides do that. I know nothing about that because they give tools especially for that person. Every person gets a different set of tools, and if you really want to use these tools, your life can change dramatically and so positively.
I'm sure. As I hear it, Barbara, it's all about, that's the beauty of it. It's all about self-love. I mean, that's the big message for all of us, to start and love ourselves, right? Huh?
Yes.
And
yes.
All the pain comes from the external world and the judgments that we have and must listen to and say, oh, yes, I'm not good, I'm guilty. But once, as you say, you really connect with that deep self, with your soul and with your uniqueness, that is also, as I hear you, a way to start and love yourself, who you really are, right?
Exactly, because it all starts with you. So if you can accept who you are, maybe for the first time in your life ever, you will start to blossom. And what about, I read a while ago that there are now schools in the United Kingdom. I loved when I read it. The schools, they look at what a child is good at, and they focus more on what the child is good at than what the child doesn't like or is. So, but all these children now, they are so highly sensitive. All these young ones are being born now. They cannot do math when the teachers say, or they have trouble reading. But they have a totally different pace than what we had when we were young, Monique.
Yes.
some time ago, and so their confidence is like they try to break down their confidence. And I love to read that schools in the United Kingdom are doing it the other way around. Show them what they're good at instead of what they can do.
Oh, dear.
I love that.
That's really great. It's a pity that there will be a Brexit. So. But what you are doing, I mean, I love the word soul contract. To connect people with their soul contract. So that's what you do. You do that in sort of a course, don't you? That you develop, you learn people to develop their own psychic abilities, and you give a course in that?
Yes, I do, because we are all born with a sixth sense. And it's true. I mean, babies, they are so paranormal. But when we grow older, like 6, 7, 8 years, we are taught to use our common sense more often. So sometimes we lose our connection with our heart, with our feelings. Yeah. But the beauty of our feelings is that they're always there, and they'll never leave us. But sometimes you need to learn to connect again with your gut feeling. So I give a 4-part course, and it's about training yourself. It's about getting in contact with your own feelings again, but also train with pictures from people, see what you sense or feel or hear. And people are really amazed at what they can do. Like they're getting information from their own guides during homework, and they say, I never thought I had it in me. And I said, you always had it in you, but we need to open a door. So I opened the door to your sixth sense again. That's all.
Well,
it's lovely. I love to do it.
Oh yeah, but I think you are here to connect with us with that again, because exactly what you said, Barbara, I remember from my own childhood that I saw so much and really clairvoyant. I do remember that. It's coming back more and more. But my God, the world was so much more beautiful. And then later, we grow up with exactly what you say, that we need to learn to think with our heads and to put all sort of stuff in our heads, and which I've totally forgotten, by the way. So what use is that? And what you do is to say, okay, let's become children again.
Yeah, well, that's a nice way of putting it. That's a beautiful. Yeah, I like that. Can I borrow that sentence from you?
It's yours because you do it.
Yeah, it's so true, and children are so pure, but so are we. But the influence from the outer world makes everything blur, and but it's a good thing that you can always go back to being a child again in a split second and remember how you feel like when you first saw like a lavender field. How does it feel?
Yeah.
You can bring back that feeling like wow, or your first kiss in the moonlight. Wow, how does it feel? And that's your gut instinct. That's your heart.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. So it's not so difficult to reconnect with your feelings again, but I love to help people to remember again.
Well, I think you are an expert there because, this is your work, and your inner senses are very well developed, okay? So you can help us. You can help so many people who want to do that. And I know in Dutch there is a word, and I will translate it into English, which is called intuitive development, intuïtieve ontwikkeling. And I think that's what you do. Am I right?
Yes, that's what I do. And it's also maybe a better sentence would be remembering your intuition again. Or like you said, being a child again, because a child is so intuitive. Yes, I do that. And it's sometimes during a reading, I don't know exactly how that works, but when I give a reading, there's something happening in the energy. And people will say like, oh, I'm getting real warm, or I have goosebumps all the time. And I can feel that their guides are working on their energy, but I cannot see what they're doing. And suddenly they email me later on like, I feel I'm so much more in tune with my intuition. So it can happen spontaneous also.
I see. Yes.
I can also look inside bodies to tell you what you need, like vegetables or what you need at this moment in your life, vitamins and things like that. They also tell me. So it's really an all-round reading what I can offer. Not only your future and why you're here, but also what do you need right now to be the best version of you.
So as I get it, you are a psychic medium who, many people who go to mediums say, what you started with, oh, when will the love come in my life? When will the money come? When will all these external components that you just mentioned? But you are here to connect us with the best version of ourselves and to become that creative person that can, let's say, realize it ourselves, all those questions.
Yes, and be who you really are. And when you're so in tune with yourself, you don't need someone to ask questions. You just know. You just know.
And, you said, you developed that very special course that comes from your own source and your own experiences with so many people and so many readings, so many television and radio shows that you also did.
Yes.
But, if somebody wants to say, okay, I'm interested in that course, what can people expect?
What can they expect? Did you say that?
Yeah.
They can expect to be more in tune with themselves, opening their feelings, trusting their feelings again, and be amazed at what psychic abilities they have. Because we all have it.
Yeah. But what I meant is actually, is it a course only once or twice a week, or how long does it take, or is it online? That's the question.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
That's all right.
Well, we work with feelings, so you decide how long you take, how long you want to do. Sometimes you feel that you're too busy at work or things like that, and you need more time. That's fine. Take all the time you need. And sometimes you feel, okay, now I'm going to do my homework. I feel up to it, and now's the right moment. So that's how it goes.
Okay, so people can subscribe or register to a course, or what?
Yeah, you can send me an email, and I will send the link of the payment. And when the payment is done, I'll send the lesson number 1, and I explain how you can protect yourself, and I guide you every step. And after the course is done, I will give the final evaluation through email, and I will tell you which ability is the most strongest in you. And I will tell you what tips and like personal tips, like my guide says, well, he or she needs this and this to become more psychic and develop abilities even more.
And is this a one-to-one meeting, or is it with more people?
No, it's email. The homework goes through email, so it's one-on-one through email.
Oh, okay, yeah. And there are several lessons that people can take, and
yes.
When it's on. Okay, all right. So great, and well, people will probably want to know what they should pay for that.
It's $89.
Oh well,
the course.
Oh, the whole course. Well, $89. That's a great price, to develop your own psychic abilities. Yeah,
yes.
Really. So I think I will subscribe, and I'm really serious. I'm really serious, huh? I'm not kidding.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
Barbara, because the work I do is astrology is beautiful. I love my work, but I'm ready now also to do it a little more your way. So I would love to do that.
Oh, great. Well, I love to have you as a student. Great.
Okay. Well, there are some 5 minutes left, Barbara. So is there anything else you want to share with us, or what?
Well, I hope that everyone will feel more love in their heart the coming years. I hope that people will be more optimistic instead of pessimistic. That can make a huge change in your life. About president elections and things like that. It is what it is. If you say that to yourself, it is what it is. It is what it is, and focus on yourself. And I also love Eckhart Tolle, who says, be in the now. If you really feel that you are overwhelmed by problems or life throws a curveball to you, go in the now. Just breathe and go in the now. And you feel you're always safe there. So there's always this place you can go to in the now.
The sacred inner space, right?
Yes. So and meditate, start meditating. That's also being in the now, and feel, when you meditate, you feel that you're safe. You start to feel your own power again. Feeling powerless is horrible. but it's not. You don't have to feel powerless. So that's what I want to say. Just you can do so many things to feel better, and sometimes it's hard work when life is not treating you gently, but there's always a way to feel better again. Always.
I totally agree with you, and I know as an astrologer, but, I see that, Nicole. 2 minutes left. Thank you very much. Barbra, that I will in my next show, I will speak about this with the audience, about more, let's say, forecast issues of 2019. And a very small introduction is connecting with what you just said, Barbra. The world is getting grimmer. It's more grim, and it will be more hard and violent to the external world. And the only way to, the only, let's say, key for us is inside. It's inside where we must find our connection with our soul, with our hearts, with our inner universe. That's where we must go, and that's where we are safe. So,
always,
So, this is because we have no time left anymore. Barbra, for all the people who are listening, really, if you connect with Barbra, the website is Barbra the Medium. So one word, barbrathemedium.com, and you can see her beautiful website. And if you want some more information or you want to go further with Barbra, I think she can enrich your life very much, especially in these days and times of shift. A grimmer external world, but a much more powerful and richer inner world. That's the message for all of us. So, Barbra.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barbra.
Yeah, thank you.
For being my guest, for our guest, and to share your wisdom and knowledge with us. Really
so welcome
to have you in the show. And, people can connect with you. And we will be in touch also, Barbra, personally.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Hear all of our previously aired broadcasts of News for the Soul online at newsforthesoul.com. Now let's get back to the show.